The Wealthy Life is brought to you by investment dealer Raymond James. Life well planned. See what a Raymond James advisor can do for you.
Welcome back. With us today is Cathy Scott, owner of 2 travel companies and chief expedition officer with great travel tips to save you money. Cathy, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Sybil.
Everyone wants to learn how to save money because I think we have so many things we want to spend money on. If we can cut back in certain areas, it frees up money to spend in others. Now, I understand that you had a knack for making money at a young age. Tell me about that.
I did. It's quite funny. I used to crochet Barbie clothes when I was 8, and I would sell them to the neighborhood kids. I had a lineup, actually, of kids wanting to buy them. So 25 cents for the skirt, 25 cents for the vest, and I made my money.
You were like a fashion designer at 8? That's pretty cool. And then how did you get into the travel business?
Well, it was part of my life strategy. Travel's always been really important to me. My parents traveled, so I had planned on having a travel agency at some point in my life, and I just made it happen.
Was it scary making that first step into opening your own business?
Well, I did it in steps, so yes, of course, but it was less scary than if I had just jumped right in.
Now, you have 2 different types of travel businesses. Explain the difference between the 2.
Yeah, it's a bit confusing, I think. One arm of my business is tours. So I have a tour company which specializes in women's travel all over the world, small group boutique tours for women. We also do inbound luxury tourism of Victoria, so people coming to Victoria will come and we create experiences for them. And then the other arm of my business is a full-service travel agency, so I have staff that will take care of bookings for people going anywhere in the world.
Now, the travel tours sound amazing for women. What's been the best experience or the best trip you've gone on so far?
That's easy. It's India. I've been a few times, and I absolutely love India. It's just an amazing destination. It's life-changing, and everyone who's ever gone with me, I've taken 3 groups of women, has said the same thing. It's just life-changing.
What are some of the things you need to prep for before you get to India?
Well, culture shock is a big one. You have to really leave your Western sensibilities at home, and you go without a sense of judgment, and you're just going as an observer and a witness to what their lives are like there. But it's a magical experience.
And did you feel safe?
Absolutely.
That's one of the things I think people worry about when they travel is how safe am I going to be? Is there, am I going to get sick on the water or the food? What's the climate like? But it's great if you can get beyond your comfort zone and try new things.
It is, and safety is, we go in a small group, we have a full tour guide. A country like India, I wouldn't just go and backpack it, not myself anyway. Yeah. And I'm pretty adventurous, so it's really good to go with local experts when you're there.
So a tour is a great way to go with a group of people, so you feel safer, and it's all organized and planned.
It is, and yet you see all the highlights, you see how the people there live, you experience all of what's there, but you feel safe knowing that there's people there taking care of you. So
now,
it's a great
being
way.
an expert traveler, I want to get into the good stuff. Travel saving tips. What are some of the top tips that you have for families?
Oh, for families, there's some great ones. I think one of them is that there's different levels. For an example, if you're going on a cruise, you can have an interior cabin for part of the family and exterior for parts. You get the joy of experiencing both of those things without the cost of everybody going in the higher category. So that's one thing. Going in an off-season is a really good thing to do, and that's really for anybody, but for families it's a great time because it's not so busy. Yeah. You don't have the busyness of all of the travel, people going all at once. So
and it's hard for families sometimes to travel at off-season because of the school year, so typically Christmas and spring break are the most expensive times to travel. But if you can be a little bit flexible, I know I always like to go the week of Remembrance Day for whatever reason, but there's usually a Pro-D day and a holiday in there. And then my son doesn't have to miss much school, and the deals are great.
They are. You can definitely reap some big benefits by going in just a little bit off. Shoulder season is perfect.
Good. And then how about when families get bigger, Is there a limit on like room size? Because that's also a challenge for families. Like if you've got a family of 4, you can all fit into one room. What's usually the limit? Is it 5? A family of 5?
Some will go up to 5. 4 is perfect. So you know, planning family, maybe think about that. But you know, families can also do things like rent a condo instead of going into a hotel, because in that case you've got your kitchen. So kids don't always want to spend all their time in restaurants. So that way you've got a kitchen. You can save money on bringing your own food, and yet you still got the pool and all of those amenities that children want to have.
That's great advice. I know that you get a lot more bang for buck renting a condo than you do a hotel room, and you have all these other amenities. It's nice just waking up in the morning when you're on vacation and having breakfast right there.
It is.
You know, you can still have your robe on, plus you're saving some money, which is great. What are some of the tips you might have for seniors?
Well, I think the biggest one that I would say is be prepared to go at any time. With seniors, because you're not tied down to such a set schedule, if you can just have your bags packed, your passport in hand, and ready to go, and tell your travel advisor you can go at the drop of a hat, you can get some great prices, great deals.
And how fun would that be? You know, just be ready to go and oh, this deal comes up. Where are some of the highlighted places that the last minute deals tend to come up regularly?
Well, it changes depending on the year. Like right now what's happening is there's a real glut, if you will, in the industry for river cruising. So those are typically very high ticket items, but right now, because there's so many river ships being built, there's some amazing prices last minute. They're giving free air, 2 for 1. It's incredible. So it's a really good time to do that. Sometimes, depending on the season, say in the winter, in the shoulder season, you can get sun destinations at incredible prices if you can go last minute.
Right.
The big thing is you have to be prepared to not go. So if you're saying, well, I'm just going to be ready, and then nothing comes up, then nothing comes up.
So there's not always a great last minute deal. So if you're booking your holidays and hoping to wait to the last minute to plan it to save money, you might be disappointed and not go anywhere.
Not a good strategy.
No.
Yeah.
Now, does it make sense to book further in advance? Is there sometimes better deals then as well?
Absolutely.
So if you pre-plan, for those people who, I have to go away at these dates, how far in advance is ideal for booking a vacation when you know your dates have to be a certain date?
Yeah, 6 months to a year, and even beyond. Most stuff isn't released more than a year in advance, but for sure a year. If you're a person that uses points, for example, with Aeroplan, and you want to use those, if you don't book a year in advance, you're not going to get them. So it's really important to plan ahead. So it's kind of either book last minute if you're okay with not going and wanting a super good deal, or book really far in advance.
And you know, I guess that's the other last and final tip, but is use your travel points. You can get great deals, racking them up on your credit card, and then use it as long as you book in advance, and you can get your free flights.
Absolutely.
Cathy, thank you so much for being on the show and sharing some great tips.
It's been fun. Thank you.
And when we return, find out when, if ever, it makes sense to tell your adult children how much money you have.